At the beginning of this program, I wasn't entirely sure what an instructional designer was. And to be honest, I don't think I truly understand what an instructional designer was until this course, where I got the opportunity to play the part of an instructional designer. This reminds me of Benjamin Franklin's famous words where he says, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn." Until now, this program has explained the theories and concepts of what an instructional designer does. And while all of that was extremely important and beneficial as it laid the proper foundation to build upon, it was not until this course of doing what an instructional designer does that helped me understand the true nature of what being an instructional designer entails. I want to use the same quote from Benjamin Franklin for my final reflection. Designing an e-learning course carries the same concept where learners need to be involved in the learning process to be active participants who are not only engaged, but are learners who carry the cognitive responsibility. One way a course can be engaging is if it integrates multimedia that is purposeful in aligning with the course goals while appealing to the cognitive theory of multimedia learning, which states that, quote, "We have both auditory and visual channels for processing information and building memory, and that the active process of learning is more successful when both the auditory and the visual channels are stimulated simultaneously, also known as the dual channel assumption." An instructional designer needs to be aware of the cognitive theory of multimedia and appeal to the auditory and visual channels of the learners. Sitting in the seat of an instructional designer made me see how precise and intentional designers need to be about taking theories and concepts and putting them into practice. The value of engagement is essential, especially with the teenage audience. In order for the learners to buy into an e-learning course, the learner needs to be engaged and invited to explore. If there is little to no appeal, the learner will not walk through the doors and learning will not occur. You can present the best material and information, but if the learner is not hooked and baited through engagement, the information you design will not be valuable. A balance must exist. Another important facet of engagement is chunking along with other cognitive theory of multimedia learning. Good instructional design is driven by our knowledge of human cognitive structures and the manner in which those structures are organized. Chunking is invaluable to e-learning course design. Presenting too much information will lead to cognitive overload that will burn out learners, and presenting too little information will lead to indifferent learners who are bored. A good instructional designer knows their target audience well enough to find the right balance to meet the needs of the learning community. So while the designer's skill in design and technology is important, the theories, concepts, and psychology of learning is equally, if not more important. One can always practice and improve upon their technical skills. Instructional designers need to have a good grasp of the theories, principles, and concepts of learning in order to effectively design a course that flows together well. A designer with high technical abilities could work magic with videos that engages their audience. But without pairing learning theories and creating a base of an instructional design model, the magical technical abilities manifest into smoke and mirrors, and we end up with a product that uses technology for the mere sake of using technology. Instructional designers need to constantly work on improving their skills, but that skill needs to be a balance between technical skill and the learning theories in order to develop courses that flow together well for their intended audience. The course-long project definitely guided me to meet the objectives outlined for this course. I was able to decide on the theories and principles of learning and instructional design to develop my course. I was also able to reflect on my choices based on the foundation of theories I laid out for myself prior to the build of the course. I saw the importance of laying a proper foundation to ensure intentionality when I started to build the course. The course application led me to create a case study using my target audience to design my Psychology 1 hybrid e-learning module as I addressed the needs of the target audience. In thinking like an instructional designer and the learner, I was able to practice chunking segments to help learners digest the materials better and not have them feel like they were drowning in a sea of information being thrown at them. I again was able to look at theories and principles of learning and instructional design to develop assessments that will be beneficial to both the learners and the facilitator. The assessment design might not be the most traditional, but it does align with the intentions of the course and in guiding students to be better prepared for their futures. This was the fun part of the assignment, as well as the part that gave me the biggest headaches. While I was able to play with lots of different emerging technologies, I only integrated a small number of them. I wanted to maintain focus and not throw in too many cool tech tools. I did not want and do not want this course to be one that uses the coolest, latest gadgety tools. I want it to be a course to be where technology is used to help enhance learning and learner engagement. Peer review is an essential process, and I wish I had more opportunities for peer review. While I didn't have anyone give me feedback on discussion board assignment number 5, I did receive valuable feedback from a peer in another peer review that definitely changed the direction of my design. And again, while I didn't get first-hand feedback from my peers in the last discussion board, I was able to view the works of my peers to see what I was missing and what I could integrate. Peer review and collaborative learning in the instructional design industry is definitely vital. If we don't work together and learn from each other, we are limited in what we know. In order to be our best, we need to learn from others. I have always been a reflective person. I have gained so much insight from my reflections, which is why I designed the assessment reflective form, because I want to teach my students how to be reflective people as well. It is important to stop and reflect in any job. Being a reflective instructional designer will allow me to cross-check everything to see if they all line up. I can reflect on the foundation I had prior to the build and check whether the execution consistently aligned to the intentions I had. I feel like this course allowed me to really get my feet wet as an instructional designer. It has led me to know what I do well as where I need more practice. The area I need most practice is in the technical skills. I noticed that creating the videos has taken up so much of my time as I write the script, make the video, add the slides, add the animations and other features, write the assessments, and edit it to make sure it meets all of the learning targets. I'm hoping that with more practice, I will be able to learn the shortcuts that save me some time down the road. So as I wrap up this course with this reflection, I will refer to the wise words of Benjamin Franklin one more time and remind myself about what true learning is. Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn.